The United Democratic Party faced a major setback on nomination day when 4 of its candidates, led by Moses Shyne Barrow, failed to show up at their respective nomination stations. Additionally, a 5th candidate, Raymond Rivers, couldn't gather enough supporters to get nominated. This was a stark contrast to Saturday, when Barrow unveiled his slate of 30 candidates, all sitting shoulder to shoulder, presenting a united front.
Next to Tony Herrera is the man representing our party in the Fort George constituency, Mr. Melvin Hewlett, and the regional leader, the Eastern regional leader. Sitting next to Mr. Hewlett is the man who hails from the culture capital of Belize, the man representing Dangriga, Sarawi, and Hope Creek, Mr. Norman Usher. In Belize City, Pickstock constituency, Dean Samuels. Collett constituency will be represented by none other than Raymond Rivers. Collett.
Due to the no-shows of Melvin Hewlett and Dean Samuels, the People's United Party candidates for Fort George, Henry Charles Usher, and Pickstock, Anthony Mahler, were automatically declared winners in their constituencies. In Dangriga, Norman Usher's absence left the People's United Party incumbent Dr. Louis Zabané to face off against independent candidate Cyril Garcia on election day. Dennis Williams also didn't show up in Toledo East, meaning the P.U.P incumbent Osman Martinez will now compete against People's National Party candidate Will Mejia. Today we sat down with Moses Shyne Barrow to discuss the absence of these candidates on nomination day.
I can only speak of two. Mr. Rivers had an issue with one of his nominators. There was some urgent issue that came up in the last minute, and Mr. Samuels presented a medical slip saying that he had a quasi-stroke.
What about Mr. Hewlett and Mr. Dishaw Williams down south? Were there any indications from them or any signs that they would have not shown up?
The allegations are that they were bought out by the People's United Party. Those are the allegations. It is quite astonishing and despicable, in my view, that any person who has offered themselves to be a candidate for any political organization, who has campaigned to people and promised people that they would advocate for them, would, in the very last hours before nominations, defect and abandon that pledge and promise to the people. Because, make no mistake, candidates don't serve, or in my humble opinion, should not serve a political organization before they serve the people. It should be that the service of the people align with the mission of the political organization, and so it goes hand in hand. But first and foremost, I believe that your obligation is to the people that you wanted to serve.
Barrow says the U.D.P is now throwing its support behind Will Mejia in Toledo East and Cyril Garcia in Dangriga.
Have people such as Will Mejia, who, by the way, I spoke to Will yesterday, and we are supporting his candidacy in Toledo East. We ask all voters of Toledo East to vote for Brother Will Mejia. And I spoke also to Mr. Cyril Garcia in Dangriga. We are asking all voters of the Dangriga constituency to vote for Mr. Cyril Garcia. And these are independent candidates who have very, very limited resources, but they have bountiful will to serve the people in their constituencies. So I don't buy any argument other than a medical emergency, which in all fairness Mr. Dean Samuels is the only one that presented a medical form, and Mr. Rivers, who is a novice to the political arena, and maybe next time he would know that you would have multiple alternatives with your 6 nominators. But for the other 3, I can't speak other than the allegations that I've heard and what the actions in the last hours indicate.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.